Hello everyone and welcome back to Game Brigade. I'm your host Brian, and on this show we do reviews, previews, and playthroughs of your favorite games. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Today on the show we're taking a look at Bardsung as one of the Kickstarter reviews of the Should You Back It series. I've been excited to check out this one. I've got some mixed feelings, but let's go ahead and take a look at the Kickstarter campaign and dive in. Okay, we are here with Bardsuung. They're at 3,658 backers as of right now. Oh, they just lost one. They're at 57 and 14 days to go. Right off the bat, I want to mention that these are with Steamforged Games, is the creator of this. Steamforged has had some history, and I feel like if I don't talk about it right off the bat, I will get some comments regarding it. So I want to make sure you guys are aware that Steamforged Games has had a bad record in the past of fulfillment and just poorly run Kickstarter campaigns, specifically with Dark Souls. They have, and then Resident Evil had some fulfillment issues, but we're all good now. Since then, Horizon Zero Dawn, I believe Critical Role, and Devil May Cry have all been pretty well fulfilled. I don't think there's been many issues that I can see, but there are going to be people that are going to say, I don't back Steamforged Games because they've burnt people in the past. Totally fair. I understand that. I also think it's fair to say that a company has grown and evolved over time, and that there are points where you can say they have obviously recognized their mistakes and maybe they're doing better. If you're one of those people who can't look past that, totally fine. But please don't chew me out in the comment section about it, because I know. So right off the bat, what is Bardsung? It is a dungeon crawler experience. It's going to be another epically long campaign with 50 hours of dungeon crawl experience. Is this going to be worth it for you to back this game? Is it going to be able to earn your spot in the plethora of campaign games that we are seeing as of late? So what I want to talk about are the three things that I think are unique or cool about Bardsung. We'll then break down the pledge level and the shipping costs, and then talk about my final thoughts regarding if I would recommend backing this game. Right off the bat, there's a few things I think are unique. First is the way the characters are being designed, and they're all fairly generic. They start off fairly generic, but what I like is as you progress through the campaign, you're able to make this character more in line with how you want to play it. Generally, when you're playing a game, I'm going to use an example like Descent or something, where you're playing an archer. This is who you are. You're assigned this role, and this is just what you do. So for the entirety of your 50-hour campaign, you are shooting a bow at range. It's just what you do. And that's generally fine for a lot of campaign games. But what I like about this game is if you want to build your cleric as a cleric and then a battle cleric, like if you want to evolve them into more of a combat damage cleric, you have that ability to kind of make the character your own. So I think that's really cool. I want to see more games say, let's give players agency over their characters and how they want to mold that character to their own. I think that's really cool. With that, we're going to talk about gemstones. When you are progressing through a dungeon in most campaign games, when you get loot at the end of the game, it's usually predetermined based on the scenario you're playing. Sometimes they can be randomly generated from a tile that you flipped, and it'll say, loot this item. And whatever you get, it's what you get. So if you got a helmet that was great for tanks, if you didn't necessarily have a tank that wanted that helmet, or if it was a downgrade for what their current helmet was, it could potentially be a wasted item. So this has been a thing in dungeon crawlers for a long time. This game, Bardsung, is saying, what can we do if we rather let players play with the equipment that they want to play with, and how can they upgrade those items to be more unique or customizable in the sense of what they want to do? And their solution was gemstones. Gemstones, if you ever played World of Warcraft, is going to be very akin to jewel crafting, where items are going to be having gem slots, but depending on their level or your level, of how many gems that you can put into that item. And these items, as you can see here, are unique in the sense of things that they can do to upgrade your equipment to make them different or more unique. So I like this. It lets me use my claymore if I want to use my claymore, and it lets me change the way the claymore interacts or how my character plays with it. I think this is a really awesome feature, and I think it's great that letting players have agency over their characters to let them choose the direction they want to go. I think the art is completely awful, but this is also a Kickstarter and they can change this art at any time. But I think this is very much lacking, but it is also to the point. But I think this is just a massive gem in the center, and it could do better. The final thing about the game that I really wanted to talk about was the marching orders. The initiative system, and we've been talking a lot about initiative lately in terms of combat. Darkest Dungeon had a unique initiative system that I thought was interesting to talk about. Bardsuung also has an interesting initiative system, not necessarily a perfect one, but it's a way to at least represent that combat is ever flowing and changing and things are moving around. Because in real combat, that's how it goes. It's not, okay, guys, you hit us, and then, okay, now we get to hit you. It's not like that. Things are happening. Maybe there's obstacles or events occurring at the same time that are affecting how things are playing out. So the way they have the marching order in this is what their initiative system is all the enemies that you're encountering in a room will be displayed with their cards. So you shuffle those as well as your character cards into a deck, and any event cards that are being triggered by the specific room that you're in as well will be shuffled in there. And then you lay them out in an order. You randomly do this. So whatever order they arrived in will be the initiative system of how those characters will initiate in this specific character order. When I was playing other games that have initiative systems that are unique, let's say Gloomhaven was a good example, I liked the ability to manipulate the initiative order to try to go early or slow depending on what might be better for the situation. And I liked that we weren't allowed to share as a party what specific number we were going. We just would have to say, I'm going relatively fast or relatively slow. You couldn't actually say the exact number. I like that allowed the players to have some control over the initiative system, but not full control. This system removes that control. It's fairly random, but they allow the players to have specific abilities depending on your character to change things up. They give a good example of the paladin being able to not move. He can lock himself in place. He's going to be a tower of defense, so he's staying where he's at. So when you shuffle all these cards up, you don't pick him up. You just leave him where he's at. He's going to stay there. But then you can use the mage to give him haste. Let's say the mage is going to cast haste on him. It's going to increase his initiative system order by 1 or 2 for 2 rounds. So now you slide him up. So now we know where the paladin's going to be. So we have some reprieve. At least we know the paladin's going to go first, regardless of what happens. I like that idea that you are all working together, using your specific skill sets to complete whatever combat puzzle you're currently facing. With that, though, there can be environmental hazards. There could be an earthquake occurring, so there could be damage occurring when those triggers happen. There can be little countdowns. Every time you shuffle the deck up, you remove a timer token, and when that timer runs out, more enemies show up. So there's definitely things that interacts with this initiative order, and I think it's great that they're saying, here's a unique way that we're trying to step up beyond just a standard dungeon crawler. I think some people will like it, and I think some people will dislike it. Again, it's really how you take it. I think it's great to always have more options. So those were the 3 things that I really liked from this. In terms of exclusivity, in terms of financial backing, the nice thing about Bardsuung is that there are going to be Kickstarter exclusive items, so they're only going to be available in the Kickstarter. So the core set, the retail version, will not have any of the stretch goals and will not have any of the Kickstarter exclusive items that are not included as stretch goals, such as this gentleman up here, this Glade Strider. So that's important to note. So we're going to go on down to, if you have any questions though, this campaign is really well put together. I think they've really taken a great time to showcase a lot of questions. The rule book is not active yet, but will be posted soon. So if you have any questions about this campaign, I think this is one of the better campaigns in terms of laying out exactly what the game is to see if it's something for you. So let's keep going. This is the included items in the core box. I guess we're going to talk about the pledge level since it's what showed up. The core box pledge level is $99. I will probably assume that before the end of this campaign, we're going to see more. Steamforged Games loves their expansions. So I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 expansions, potentially more. So expect this price to go up if you are interested in this game. Again, I don't necessarily think you have to buy every expansion. I just know how players are. They feel like they need to on dungeon crawlers. So again, the campaign is very well laid out. So please do your research, do your due diligence, because I know how it is with a game that has Kickstarter exclusive. FOMO is a thing. If you are unsure what FOMO is, if you're new to Kickstarters, I got a video right here that you can take a look at for FOMO. Definitely recommend checking it out. So as I mentioned earlier, unlocks, all the stretch goals -1 are Kickstarter exclusive. The -1 is the game trays insert. That's going to go into the retail core box. So they're giving that one for free to everyone. But we have several new enemies and several new hero characters. So we have the Thief, the Ooze are some enemies. Swiftclaw is a new hero. The Demon Blade is a new hero. And the Wolf Pack is a new enemy, which is great. They also are doing these daily unlocks. These are not Kickstarter related, exclusives that are related, but they're also not monetary based. They are just things that they're going to do. And generally these have been things that are almost all Kickstarter items have them, like the linen card finish. They're saying here's another guest star writer that we're bringing in. Not the most exciting stuff here, but I like that they're doing the monetary based stretch goals as well as daily unlocks. And I know why they do this. The daily unlocks brings people back daily to check out the campaign. The stretch goals, the monetary ones, are great when you hit them, but if there's a lull between the time, it can kind of sometimes slow the campaign down. So they're taking the best of both worlds. Add-ons, continuing on with the total price. Right now they have 3 add-ons. The hero dice, looks like a more custom dice set, $12. I do like the look of these, but I think you could be just fine with the plastic pair that comes with the game if you'd like. But there's nothing wrong with always having an extra pair of dice. You can purchase an additional pledge for the same price if you'd like that, as well as a neoprene mat, which replaces the paper mat that you'll be playing on. Playmats are great. If you keep buying them, they become a storage issue. I have a problem with buying playmats. I mention it all the time. This game might be a playmat game for me, but I'm not sure. So we're going to now scroll down to shipping, because I think shipping, to me, is the final thing I want to talk about. So shipping for Bardsuung, relatively average here in terms of what to expect from a large campaign-based dungeon crawler game. I'm a little more hesitant. Remember, these are not in dollars. These are on British pounds, and the dollar is less. So this game is probably going to be leaning towards £26 for US backers in mainland. Again, make sure you check which country you're from. Again, I'm from the US, so I always refer to the US, but I do know we have a lot of European people in our viewership, which is awesome, which makes me want to learn more about European retail stuff. So take a look there. I hope you know exactly where you're at. You should. I do think the shipping is a little high because I know I'm expecting this to probably be around $35, $40 shipping. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my head up full. Do a little bit of stretch, shake out the shoulders, and let's talk about, should we back this game? Should you back this game? I think Bardsung has enough on the meat on the bone to warrant backing it. Do I think there are some things I would like to see? Yes. But I do think that the campaign has a lot of things going on, and I'm actually going to swing back to the campaign here in a second. I want to show you guys a link if you're wanting to do a little bit more research. Let me fade back real quick. Okay. This gameplay article, they have these hyperlinks. I encourage you to click these. If you are on the fence, if you are thinking about backing this game, please read these. They go into all of their thought processes of every aspect of this game, from exploration to the equipment to the marching orders. Everything I've talked about plus more is in here. I don't have the time in the video to cover all of this. I covered what I liked, but I definitely think that you guys can take a look at this and see more stuff. Okay. So definitely, I think there's enough here. Will this hold this value? Generally, Steamforged Games and Kickstarter exclusive items hold their value. So if you buy this game and you play it and it's not for you, or if you don't care for it, sell it immediately, because it's going to be hot. There's going to be other people who missed out on the campaign who want those Kickstarter exclusive items. So I do think this is a safe back. I think there's a lot of other dungeon crawlers on the market right now that compete with this space. They do claim that this is a one-shot as well as a 50-hour campaign. The one-shot depends on how the one-shot is implemented. I need to see more of that, because if I could bring a dungeon crawler that I could bring friends over when they're visiting, and we can play a dungeon that's unique and fun, that doesn't require us to have a bunch of story involved, I think it's great. But I'd like to see more. I also would really like to see more of the world that they're building. Tell me about the world of Bardsuung. I want to know more. There's a big disconnect with a lot of these big games. One of my biggest complaints about Gloomhaven was I felt like the world, although they built a world, I didn't think the world building was well done for me. So I want to see these games really show us what is the story, why do I want to care about these heroes, and what is, what's behind everything. I think that's important. I think the world building is important. I hope they showcase that a little bit more. Overall, I think this game is looking pretty good. So again, thank you for hanging out with me on this longer episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you really want to support the channel, if you want to help me grow, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I think there are a lot of new people watching the show, so I think you guys should subscribe. I always check the not subscribed counter, and there's like 56% of you guys not subscribed. What are you doing? Subscribe to the show. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Remember, hashtag Bardsuung. Leave your comment. Tell me what you're going to do. I will talk to you all very soon.